Hi, I'm Gabriel Muñoz, and welcome back to Around the Sun, your weekly news roundup. Paul and Gracia, Jade, class of 2022, President Trump's nominee to lead the Office of Special Counsel, which handles federal employee complaints and whistleblowing, wrote in text messages to a group chat with half a dozen Republican operatives that he had, quote, a Nazi streak, end quote, according to reporting by Politico. A day after the text messages were published, Gracia put a pause on his nomination and announced that he will not be attending his confirmation hearing, scheduled for Thursday, October 23rd. In his Tuesday announcement on X, he wrote, quote, unfortunately, I do not have enough Republican votes at this time, end quote. During his time at Cornell, Gracia wrote for the Cornell Journal of Law and Public Policy, hosted a podcast with his sister, Olivia Gracia, and wrote for the far-right publications The Daily Caller and The Gateway Pundit. Gracia did not immediately respond to the Sun for a request for comment. He remains the White House liaison to the Department of Homeland Security.
Professor William Jacobson, law, is preparing to file a civil rights complaint seeking a federal investigation to Cornell. The complaint argues that Cornell's handling of the now settled Eric Chaffetz's case resulted in the doxing of Israeli graduate student Oren Renard. Chaffetz faced a discrimination investigation after he allegedly asked Renard to leave his spring course on Gaza, claiming that he was, quote, disruptive, end quote. Chaffetz chose to retire before the investigation could conclude, ending his disciplinary proceedings. Jacobson's complaint against Cornell has not yet been filed, but he said he plans to ask U.S. government agencies to investigate who leaked Renard's identity, whether there was coordination behind the leak, and how private information about the student and discrimination case were shared.
Approximately 15 pro-Palestinian protesters gathered outside Willard Street Hall on Thursday evening, calling for university trustees to divest from arms manufacturers involved in the war in Gaza. Board of Trustees members are in Ithaca this week for the 2025 Trustee Council annual meeting. Using bullhorns and banging drums, two small groups of protesters amassed at both the front and the rear of the building, chanting slogans such as globalize the intifada, end quote, and, quote, Cornell trustees, you can't hide, we charge you with genocide, end quote. Several Cornell University Police Department vehicles were parked beside the protest. 5 minutes before 9 p.m., a CUPD officer came outside to tell protesters if they stayed past 9 p.m., they'd be in violation of the expressive activity policy, which states that amplified noise is permitted between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. without prior approval.